Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday. I'm Danny Mata with sports. New Mexico State got some unexpected extra rest when the Aggies game versus Wichita State was postponed indefinitely because of weather. But they were back on the hardwood tonight, taking on Arizona Christian. Steph Curry and the Warriors taking on the Knicks in the first quarter. Derek Williams, I will not tolerate your insolence. A monster jam, and the Knicks have the early lead. Auburn and Memphis in the Birmingham Bowl, and this is Auburn's Kerryon Johnson. Dude is a beast. Touchdown! Auburn wins 31-10. Your final score.
You know, one thing that I don't like and I think is absurd is that suddenly you're starting to hear this idea that somehow now Peyton Manning is like an elite quarterback because he has this game where he wins a second Super Bowl, and so now he's an elite quarterback. I don't understand the concept behind that because he throws for 140 yards, no touchdowns, 2 turnovers, and yet somehow after his worst season where defense basically carried him, somehow now he's a legend. I don't understand the concept behind it. How is it that he has elevated his status after playing statistically one of the worst games ever by a quarterback to win the Super Bowl? But now he has 2 rings. Oh, so now we can throw him into the conversation as he's an elite quarterback. It's completely nonsensical because if you think about it, there's a lot of other situations where he has had better seasons on weaker teams. But now because a team carries him, he gets the credit now of being discussed as maybe the best quarterback ever. He's either in that discussion or he isn't in that discussion. It's completely nonsensical to say that a guy after a horrible game like that is suddenly elevated to elite status.
He is one of the top pitching prospects in this year's draft. By the end of the week, he could be a young man in a major league farm system with a promising future in pro baseball. But today, Justin Maese is just a kid playing catch with his dad.
All of our hard work has paid off. I mean, this is what both of us have dreamed of since, I remember growing up since T-ball, saying, I'm going to make it to the pros.
Maese grew up playing baseball in El Paso's Lower Valley, on this field at Capistrano Park. After all this time, he's back where he started.
I still picture myself coming out here and, practicing, I just can't, I don't know, it's amazing, this process I've gone through.
The Isleta pitcher's fastball has been clocked at 96 miles per hour. His mechanics have Major League scouts salivating. He already has a scholarship to Texas Tech, and he gives his coach, his dad, a lot of credit. Sometimes Carlos Maese was tough, but Justin says it was for the best.
Growing up, he really pushed me, and I'm glad I never gave up because I know a lot of kids did because of how he coached, but it got me to where I'm at, and I'm happy with that.
All those long hours, all those hot days, those windy nights, it's all paying off at the end.
As the draft gets closer, moments like these become more meaningful.
I look back at this and it seems like time, it was just like yesterday. It was just like yesterday, we're out here playing ball. I can't really say and where is time gone,
By the end of the week, he could be the father of a pro baseball player. But today, Carlos Maese is just a dad playing catch with his boy. It's absolutely nuts over here. So the same way that Dominic Artis took over the last game when the Miners were down 13 and he freaked out with 25 in the second half, Lee Moore right now is doing that. He's in the process of it because the Miners were down 19 in this game. He gets a layup and the foul, ties the game. We're now going to overtime, and of course as soon as I get done here I'm going to run back in and see what's going on. You guys got to follow us on Facebook and you guys got to follow us on Twitter to find out what's going on. This game is absolutely nuts. The crowd is back into it. Everyone was really pumped up when they introduced the 1966 team, and then Western Kentucky came out and scored the first 8 points, and it looked like it was just going to be kind of a somber ending to an otherwise great day, but the Miners giving a lot of people a reason to cheer right now, so it's nuts out here right now. The game is tied at 77. Reporting from the Don Haskins Center, where we are tied at 77 heading into overtime, I'm Danny Mata, ABC 7 Sports. Number 5, Texas A&M taking on number 14, Iowa State. First half, Daniel House. Alley-oop dunk. He did that a lot today. We're tied at 30 at the break. Second half, Iowa State comes back. A psychotic pass by Deontay Burton sets up Jameel McKay for the easy dunk. Watch it again. Behind his head, unfair. But the Aggies come back. House, I hope you like plastic surgery because this is a facial. 20 points for House. A&M wins at 72-62.
Yeah, it really was an emotional game for the Miners, and really was one they needed. They came in just 4-6 in conference play, and quite frankly, You can't lose today. I mean, right? It's the 50th anniversary game. Well, let's go to the Don Haskins Center, and there is the team at center court. Tim Floyd there with Mary Haskins early on. Irvin Morris on the break with the big-time jam. And the Miners hanging around early, but Western Kentucky did not like being treated like the homecoming team. They came to play off the miss. Frederick Edmond comes back with the bucket and the foul. Western Kentucky leads by 9 at the break. Second half, it gets worse. Edmond, this time from beyond the arc. Miners would trail by as many as 19 points. But then Lee Moore and the rest of the team decided, all right, that's about enough of this nonsense. Moore for 3, money. And then Moore, well, he wasn't done. Scoreless at the half, 23 in the second half. Another 3 here. Miners down 11. Then here, major turning point. Moore with the steal, ahead to Irvin Morris, who opens up the can of slam. Miners down 4, less than 30 seconds left. Moore, inside, layup, and 1. His free throw ties it, and we go to overtime. In overtime, Omega Harris gets the steal, ahead to Dominic Artis. Back to Irvin Morris for the two-hand stuff. Miners by 3. Then Moore strikes again. Look at him draw the contact and hits a tough shot with a friendly roll. And now it's Morris's turn. Into the paint with a turnaround. And that just about does it. 50 years ago, it was Bobby Joe Hill with back-to-back steals to beat Kentucky. Here, Dominic Artis with the steal. The Miners chase it down, and that will do it. UTEP with a gutsy, emotional rally. The Miners win 93-89 in overtime. I think the biggest mistake that people make in sports in general is they take things on the business side that aren't personal and they make them personal. Like you look at the whole situation with Jim Harbaugh and the 49ers. They let him go simply because Trent Baalke has got a problem with him taking all the credit. Even though a lot of those guys that Baalke brought in were there. They had been there. They had guys like Frank Gore. Alex Smith had been there. Jim Harbaugh walks in, and a perennial loser for 9 straight years is in the NFC Championship game. But then he has one 8-8 season. They put him on the hot seat. They don't like his attitude. So now it's pretty much you win the Super Bowl or we get rid of you because they don't like him. You don't make things personal because they're going to regret this decision. And this is not something you recover from very quickly. When you make things personal, it impacts you the rest of the way. Look at the Lakers. You get Jim Buss, who has a personal problem with Phil Jackson. And instead of bringing in Phil Jackson, when he's got Steve Nash and Dwight Howard and Kobe and Gasol and all those guys, he gets rid of Mike Brown and brings in Mike D'Antoni for reasons that no one, including Mike D'Antoni, can figure out. And what happens to the Lakers? They fall apart, everything goes away. Maybe Dwight Howard stays. They make things personal, and now they're paying the price for it. Americas is on a mission. The Trailblazers lost on opening night to Oñate. They haven't lost since. They entered the game on a 22-game winning streak. Let's go to Americas High School, and the Blazers student section was feeling it tonight. First half, Sebastian Andrade with the steal, and he is going to finish at the rack. And that'll get the crowd jacked up. Blazers just getting started. Tristan Licon. It's like butter from downtown. America's in control, but Eastwood hanging around. James Williams is going to stick the baseline J, but America's is just on too much of a roll right now. Damola Akamolafe, few can pronounce his name, fewer can stop him. Make it 23 straight wins for America's. Blazers win 49-39, your final score. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame has got to be one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Ken Griffey Jr. sets a record for percentage of votes received to get in the Hall of Fame. But it's not 100 because apparently there's some people out there who don't think that Ken Griffey Jr. is a first ballot Hall of Famer, despite the fact that the guy was the best player in baseball at a time in which the steroid era was running rampant, and we have no evidence to suggest that he was ever on steroids. Somehow, Ken Griffey Jr., who is clean and an all-time great, is not capable or not worthy of getting 100% of the votes. The first ballot Hall of Fame thing in itself is pretty bizarre because you think about it. Guys like Craig Biggio, guys like Jeff Bagwell, guys like Curt Schilling have to wait to get into the Hall of Fame because apparently, oh, you're worthy of being the Hall of Fame, but not worthy of being in on the first ballot. What kind of sense does that make? You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. I mean, do the voters think that somehow these guys are going to become better players one extra year into their retirement? Let's go to the Don. The Miners looking to make it 3 straight wins. First half, Miners are on the break. Dominic Artis ahead to Omega Harris. Money. Later, how about these moves by Artis? Shaken, bacon, stop me, mistaken with the step back 3. But the Owls came to play. This is Igor Kulachov on the break, and he's going to stick the 3 from the right wing, and the Owls are hanging around. Still first half, nice ball movement, and Hooper Vint is going to find Terry Wynn. Miners by 8 at the break, but they got just 2 points from their bench, and Rice is able to strike back. Less than a minute to play. Marcus Evans with the floater gets the friendly roll. Owls by 1. Next possession, Artis drives baseline, scoops it in, and the Miners lead by 1. Rice still with a chance to win it. Evans pulling up. No. On the rebound, Terry Wynn is there to block the shot, and the Miners hold on to win. UTEP wins a thriller, 61-60, the final.